is a good thing. Are the pronatalists simply trying to fearmonger about nothing? Well, not exactly.
No, exactly. The pronatalists are fear-mongering because they're older people, oftentimes landed aristocrats, or people that come from familial wealth, and they're scared that they're not going to be, they won't have slaves to pay into this pyramid scheme that is our society. It's really against young people, and I really feel for young people, including myself, because I'm a young person. Because young people today are the victims of these systems that people built, knowing full well that there would be a population after them that existed that would pay into the system for their own sake. I'll get into other solutions. I'll just speak of it right now. A lot of these issues that come up when you enter old age, they're simply a result of poor physical health. And this guy talks about how okay, if you have an understanding of physiology, you understand that a lot of the decline in age, if you're a healthy person, tends to happen all at once. That is to say, if you were healthy from the day you were born up to the day you die, you were probably at your least healthy just maybe a month before you die. That's when you see significant reductions in your physical health. And if you maintain your physical health, you can be alive, active, moving, sharp up until the day that you die. Yep, the day that you die, maybe like a month before the day that you die, you'll start seeing reductions in your physical health, and it'll happen all at once. Like you'll see this in dogs, the domesticated pets often. So domesticated pets, my dog's lived a brutal life from when he was a child. I also lived a brutal life, and he has clean white teeth. I fed him bones really often. We walk a lot. He doesn't have, I'm not sure of the effects of vaccines. I would think that they would actually be positive, but my dog only has the necessary vaccines, shit like rabies vaccines and the like. And I feed him kibble, I feed him normal things, but we get around, he's active, and he has no health issues. I take him to the vet. They say, oh, this is a very healthy dog. I think he's about 12 years old now. And, a lot of domesticated pets, they're very unhealthy. They're kept around as like plants almost, where like their owners just feed them water and food and forget about them. And, if you're an old person working a desk job, this is what I mean. The elites who work desk jobs, yes, they're in a lot of pain. They are going to suffer. Oh my God, my whole life I had these intellectual pursuits, or I had this easy life where I sat on my ass and I didn't do anything physical. And now when I'm old and I'm paying the price for my own decisions, you, the young person, and you, the old person who still has some kick left in him, like my father, who's an old man, he's in good physical health. He's worked in manual labor jobs his whole life. I worked in manual labor jobs most of my life. I still do. I'm hoping that'll change soon. But he's in good physical health. But people who have desk jobs are not. And those people want young people and these people who are still in good physical health to pay for their retirement. They made this bed, they made the system, they had the levers of control, that they created the system to function this way, and now that the system might not work out, or people are a little angry that it's structured this way, they get worried.
The potential challenges associated with Paul Ehrlich's population bomb scenario were fairly easy to get our head around. We all know that we live on a finite planet with finite resources, and while we could certainly distribute those resources much more equitably, it's clear that there would eventually come a point where there simply wouldn't be enough food or water or energy to go around. The challenges associated with a declining population are a little bit more nuanced. For some pronatalists, the fear is one rooted in outright racism. They look at this map of countries with above and below replacement level fertility and worry that, to put it bluntly, African countries are quote-unquote outbreeding European and North
Very true.
American ones. Hungary's far-right Prime Minister Viktor Orban has openly built his policy agenda around fighting such a scenario.
We're living in times when fewer and fewer children are being born throughout Europe.
Absolutely. This guy's Satan. I hate this guy. He's a corrupt. He's just a terrible dude overall.
People in the West are responding to this with immigration. They say that the shortfall should be made up by immigrants. What we need is not figures, but Hungarian children. In our minds, immigration means surrender.
Others on the right fear that, regardless of what happens within their
immigration.
Yeah, by the way, I'm a politician. I get paid to do nothing. I get paid to espouse propaganda. Yeah.
Means surrender.
Others on the right fear that, regardless of what happens within their borders, shrinking national populations will lead to decreased military, economic, and cultural strength on the world stage. But even if we bracket off...
And that is true. But these people, these elites, they want their country to continue to have leverage so that they can continue to have leverage over their own populations and possibly other populations. They have no ideals, they have no principles, they have no values. They're not fighting for anything greater than themselves. They're not fighting for, the Lord's will. They're not doing the Lord's will. What they want is simply more power over more people. And if their elites, so like let's suppose Chinese elites want to beat American elites, they don't really care very much for their own people. They don't really care very much for other people. What they want is simply other elites to be destroyed so they could be the only elites. And if you've spoken with these guys and you see their psychology, it's very, very putrid. I really despise it. It's disgusting.
This more extreme stuff for a moment, and even if you believe quite plausibly that the declining impact on the environment which will come with a smaller global population would be a good thing, then there's still some very real practical challenges which come with a country or the whole world's population declining too rapidly. At the heart of this issue is the simple fact that a population which is shrinking due to low fertility rates doesn't shrink proportionally to its current makeup. Instead, as people have fewer and fewer children, there's an increasing proportion of older people to younger ones. We can see this fairly plainly in this chart, which tracks the median age of people in Europe and North America from 1950 to the present day. Since the end of the post-war baby boom, the median age of both regions has increased by about 12 years. The crucial figure to keep our eye on, however, is what's called the old age dependency ratio. This tracks the percentage of a given population at a given time which is over the age of 65. And it's referred to as the dependency ratio because as they retire or become unable to work, old people become increasingly dependent on younger people to keep things ticking over. This is sometimes true in a very direct sense. They might need carers or healthcare workers to look after them. Even if they're healthy, they need shop workers and delivery drivers and warehouse staff to furnish them with goods and services.
You see, this is what I mean. They need these shop care workers and these warehouse drivers. They need these slaves to continue paying into the system that, they've made for themselves. I really hate it. I'm sick of hearing it. Young people really have to realize that a lot of these older people, and like I actually can't relate to this because my parents were immigrants. They have, they've always been victims for the most part of the systems that surround them, much in the same way I have always been a victim of these systems, these Ponzi schemes, these pyramid schemes that surround us. Maybe some of you can relate to these things. I get it. You love your parents. You love your mom or your dad. If you love your mom or your dad and you want them to not be inadvertently evil, which is what is essentially happening, then I'd suggest you seriously speak with them on maintaining their physical health so that as they go into old age, they aren't nearly as dependent on other people as some of these, people who work at desks their whole jobs and have these completely dissolved bones, these completely dissolved muscles. I'll just continue.
Older people continue to use electricity, water, and roads which need maintenance and improvement. And on a broader level...
And of course, some people, they really did surrender their lives doing something else where they couldn't maintain their physical health or they just don't know. And I think that's why people should let them know. I don't think that they're necessarily at fault. But some of them do know of this consciously, where like they're legitimately just too lazy to not own slaves. But a lot of people simply don't know, and that's not okay either. I hope these people have they're educated. They have a talk and they realize that their declining physical health is just going to mean bad things for them and the people who surround them. And those people, I think, can really improve their own lives and the lives of those that surround them. They could be less of a burden to themselves and to others. And I know that most parents love their children. They don't want to be a burden to their children or to themselves.
Older people to receive either state or private pensions, they need younger people to be paying taxes and keeping the stock market buoyant enough that there's something to pay them. In a country which is either at or above replacement level fertility, this isn't too much of an issue. Every time a bunch of old people retire, either the same or a greater number of younger people join the workforce to replace them. They can provide all that direct support whilst also ensuring the economy continues to grow. Furthermore, in a growing population, the ratio of older people to younger people actually decreases over time. During the baby boom years of the 1960s and 1970s, for example...
Okay. These are really, really long videos that I'm making, and I want to know if they're worth making. So, if you guys could comment any suggestions on what I should do. I don't know where to go with this video. These are really just ramblings, me speaking out of my ass in response to this video. So I'll just upload it, I'll see the response, and then I'll see whether or not I make another video, if it's good enough.